Hey, what's going on, guys? So, making a second video today. Um, I saw a video earlier, and somebody asked me, "What are some things that you learned in TNT that you're probably going to carry over with you to your truck?" And I thought about that because I didn't. I mean, honestly, I didn't go. When I'm with my trainer, I'm always like, "Oh man, that's a good idea. Like, why didn't I think of that?" Or like oh man, that's pretty smart, like I don't know why wouldn't do that, why, makes sense. So here's just a couple of things that I feel like, because once you check into a receiver or a shipper, I'd say 2-3 times, you've done it probably 100 times. There might be different paperwork you have to fill out, maybe a different process. Maybe they don't allow like parking, like there was one that it said we couldn't overnight park, and they had no bathroom facility. So we were like, okay, well, when we get closer, we'll stop somewhere and just kind of chill if we're early, and then as it gets closer, we'll pull in, and that's what we did. So, what are things that I learned? I learned that you switch trailers a lot. So what you should do is get a notepad, and you can get one of those small legal notepads. You don't need like a big spiral notebook, but they're like 80 cents. So whatever, a notebook, whatever notebook you feel comfortable with, and a good set of pens and permanent markers, highlighters, things that you think you're going to need. And on that notepad, you want to have your truck number, your trailer number, your temperature for that particular load. So some of them are -10, some might be a variance of between 55 and 65. It just depends. The PO numbers. I'm trying to think what else I've been asked. I think that's it. That's mainly. I mean, some ask you more information depending on where you went. But just the recent one, they were asking, the seal number. Not every place asks you for the seal number. All the loads that I've gone on, only one place asked me what the seal number was as I was going into the gate. Like, you had to check in with a little intercom. Nobody else has asked me that, and I thought it was kind of weird. And even my trainer was like, "Yeah, that's pretty rare." And he was like, "But some ask you just to verify." He was like, "But honestly, it's not a common thing." But on that notepad, that's all the kind of stuff you need to write down. And that way you can easily reference it like pretty quick. And everyone's like, "Why would you write your truck number down?" Honestly, when you've been driving for like hours and hours and hours, and you get somewhere and somebody asks you your truck number, you kind of blank out. Especially when you're in TNT and you're learning for the first time on how to properly communicate, like to shippers and receivers and all that stuff. You get kind of nervous. Your trainer is nearby. If you have a good trainer, he's nearby, and maybe he's asleep or whatever. And you want to do it yourself, and then he's letting you do it yourself. You'll start to trip over yourself, or you maybe can't quite hear him as good, and it's not because you can't hear; it's because you're nervous. So writing all that stuff down, and because each like bill of lading is different. Even the bill of lading numbers, like they call it the master bill of lading number, but sometimes they're called something different. But writing all of that stuff down is a huge help. So that's my first on the list, is getting a notepad and writing all the pertinent information down. And once we're done with that load, you can use the next paper, and continue on. The second thing that I recommend that you have is a 2023 Atlas. Now, I know some guys have a 2022 one, and for the most part, they don't really update them that crazy. But they're good. The reason they're good to have, and everyone's like, "Well, I have a GPS. What do I need that for?" Electronic items fail. I mean, you've ever had anything that was electronic that broke? Right. So use an Atlas. Bring an Atlas with you. You can get them at the Springfield store. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at bookstores. Cheapest that I found was on Amazon. And as a matter of fact, I think it was from the Mcnally store. They were on sale. They were like a few dollars cheaper than I could find anywhere else. And get the laminated ones. What's cool about the laminated ones, for one, you can take them out in the weather and nothing's going to happen to them because they're basically plastic. And you can also take a dry erase marker and you can mark on them, and then you can literally wipe it off with your hand. So pretty cool. But those atlases, oh my gosh, they come with so much information. Sorry, they were like 911 information, as far as like emergency is concerned, every kind of emergency you can think of. Oh gosh, like the first 30 pages are like filled with all types of information that are crazy useful. And then as you get into the maps, all of those roads that you see are roads that a semi can travel down. So if your GPS ever fails, that's what you're going to have. You got to be able to read a map. So you got to know like the interstate systems and how they work and what each number means, and how you can map yourself through and all that stuff. Now, that's why you always see guys like, why does he have that GPS and also this GPS, and why does he have so many? Because you just never know. You never know when it could go down. Even on my phone, I have a Trucker Path. I got Hammer. I've got all different types just in case something was to happen. But I always have my Atlas as a backup plan. So get an Atlas, get a Rand McNally 2023 road Atlas for semi trucks because there's different types. But make sure it's laminated. Don't get the any other type but laminated. Number 3, money. So money is one thing. As a TNT, being TNT is you're not going to have a lot of. So being able to budget that money on like needs and wants, right? So do you need something or do you want something? Now things like where they're thirsty, you need water, blah blah blah. That stuff you just got to factor in for. But you're not on a sightseeing tour, honestly. You don't go to these truck stops and buying up like, oh look at this cool thing I bought in North Carolina. Look at this cool thing I bought in Florida. You don't have a lot of room on that truck. So if you're gonna buy something, man, make it minimal. If you really just have to have it, make it minimal because you need to be able to share that space with your trainer and the other person on the truck and whoever that might be. Some trainers are different than others. They don't mind stopping or whatever. Others, it can be different, which brings me to number 4, your trainer. So I don't really want to consider this like a tip or like a tool or a trick or anything, but your trainer can literally make or break like how you think things should run on when you get on your own truck. Maybe some things he doesn't make sense, and maybe some things there are that do make sense. I can tell you that when it comes to trainers, there's 2 different types, and the reason I consider this a tip, trick, or tool is only because it can affect, especially if you plan to train, it can affect the way you are with your training. So you have, in my opinion, 2 different types. You have one that's more assertive, and you have one that's more relaxed, right? So, and I've had both. I'm not a fan of the assertiveness. It's not that I don't take all that information in. Is to put it bluntly, if you want to be an asshole, you're doing it to the wrong person. Because I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not a little kid, so I'm not gonna continue to put up with it. I get it that there's like, that's just like a personality difference. But the whole assertiveness and like, get it done, mentality type shit, I don't like that. The trainer that I have now is way more relaxed, like he's not, constantly up my butt about this or that. When I check in and check out of places and everything's cool, he tells me, I'm proud of you, congratulations. He's younger than me. He's like 24, I think, or 25. He's young. I'm 35. I just turned 35. And for him to say, man, I'm proud of you. You did a great job, blah, blah, blah. Man, that shit feels good. It feels good that you did something right, that you got yourselves in, you got checked in, you got your load done, and you got out of there. That stuff like that makes you feel good. It can be nerve-wracking. So for someone to recognize when you've done good, man, it changes you. So in my opinion, decide who you want to be and what you want to do. First, decide if you want to train, and then decide what type of trainer you want to be. The reason I have that's number 4 is just because, like I said, especially if you plan on training, which I know that a lot of people that do come around to Prime do plan on training, that is a tip, trick, or tool, is pay attention to what they're doing. Like, see what you think is a good idea or a bad idea, or how you would do this differently or that differently if you had somebody on the truck with you and you were trying to teach them on how to be a professional and how to check into places and check out of places and how to live in the truck and all that stuff. It does help. It does help. The last one, number 5, and I really had to think about this one as some type of tip, trick, or tool to like, especially being out on the road. Like, honestly, common sense. And you'll probably go to lots of different videos on you know, how they've got all these different sets and this awesome headset, and that's a, you know, to me that's not you don't need a headset, right? I've seen guys with earbuds, but to me common sense is got to be on that list, because without it, you know, you don't get places, you don't, how to explain this. Okay, easy way to explain it. There was a girl, my trainer, he said one of his trainees, he was asleep. Girl was driving. She was following the Qualcomm Navigo GPS. They get to, she gets to somewhere. Oh, she gets to it. So she wakes him up, and she goes, "Hey, I need your help. I can't get out of here." And he was like, "Okay, cool, whatever, you know, happens." So he gets up and realizes she got the truck inside of a Starbucks parking lot. If you've ever been to a Starbucks, you know, you're probably thinking already, how in the hell did she do that? She said that the Qualcomm navigation GPS or whatever, that's where it took her, and so that's where she went. Across the street was the Loves. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, and he asked her, like, you couldn't have used a little common sense? There's a Starbucks, but then the truck stop is directly across the street. As a matter of fact, I can see the opening from here. You know, like, using common sense is probably the number one thing you're going to do, because there'll be times where you might put in your destination, and it'll tell you, oh, you can't go down this street. And let's say it's 500 miles is to your destination, like where to your, like, maybe your load is being dropped off, like your 90. But then it says it's all that hazard that you can't, the street that you can't go down is also 500 miles. So it's just like, well, that's where I need to go, right? So it's just using a little common sense, because when we got there, that happened to me, it was actually a Sam's Club store. It wasn't that you couldn't go down the street. It's telling you not to go in the parking lot. So there's actually a street that runs behind the Sam's Club so you can get to the loading dock. That's common sense, right? So just paying attention to what you're doing, man. Like, there's even guys that swear by their common sense so much that they use Google Maps GPS, which is designed for cars and I think buses. And they use that to get around to different states and different areas. That is stupid. In my opinion, it's completely stupid, and I don't feel sorry for people that use that if they're in a tractor trailer, and that's what they use to, like, get around. And then they're like, "Well, I don't know what happened, you know, man." You know, like, and you have to think, like, if they did get in somewhere where they couldn't get out, or if they damaged something, and come to find out they're using Google Maps GPS, I'm pretty sure the company is not going to be very happy. At least for me, when I get on my own truck, I've seen ways that guys do it. What I plan on doing is using my Garmin. I'm gonna get a Garmin. I went back and forth about this, but I think I'm gonna get the Garmin Diesel 1010, which is the big one. It's super easy to read. You can basically put it anywhere in the truck, and you'll be able to see anything on it. Some of the features that it comes with kind of sucks. Like, there's one, like, just it randomly comes up like, "Oh, traffic is clear." It's like, okay, like, I don't really need to know that, but okay, cool. And then you get into places where traffic is horrendous and the GPS never told you. So it's the traffic, the live traffic is dumb as hell. Anyways, I plan on using that, and then, like, the last 10 miles, maybe the last 15 miles, using the Navigo GPS, because that does actually get you to like the front gates, basically. So that's what I plan on doing. Whether other people like to do that, and the reason you do it like 10, 15 miles is because once you, like, go out of route, you know, from how the Navigo sees it, the Qualcomm, it doesn't just automatically recalculate. You have to click recalculate every single time. So that's why guys use it the last 10, 15 miles, because it makes it a lot easier. Just do it that way. That's what I plan on doing. But yeah, just using common sense it could make your experience on the road, man, the most fun it can be, or honestly, it could make it just terrible, because I've seen drivers that don't use common sense. I've seen guys, like, just park their trucks wherever they feel like, get out and run into the store, and then now they're blocking everybody, and they don't give a shit because, well, they needed to run inside, so they needed somewhere to park, and that's where they decided to park. I've seen guys do that. I've seen guys, you know, park wherever the hell they feel like, and then they, you know, can't understand why guys are coming out and telling them, you need to move, and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just, use common sense. It's will not only help you, but it'll help your other fellow drivers that are on the road trying to be safe, trying to, you know, be courteous, you know, all that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the guys that say, yeah, use common sense, but then you get them out into a parking lot of a truck stop or whatever, and they're like, don't fuck that guy, don't wait on him. If you wait on him, you're gonna be sitting here forever and blah blah blah. Sorry, but we're two big trucks. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what I'm doing, and I'd rather just let the guy go rather than trying to get in front of him and just be an asshole. That's just the way I am. I'm not going to sit here and expect that the world revolves around me and drive my truck to the parking lot and everyone's going to stop for me. That's not using common sense. Common sense will tell you, I'm in a parking lot, there's other trucks moving around, let me be careful. And if I'm going slow enough and all that, then if something was to happen, I can stop real quick, or, I can let them go or whatever, or maybe somebody's backing out and they can't see you, or somebody's backing in blindside and they can't see you coming up. So are you really going to try to sneak in behind them? No, that's not using common sense. Just wait for them to do their thing. You ain't got nowhere to be important. So yeah, it's just use the common sense. I think I should have maybe put that one as number one. They're in no particular order. But the ones that I think I listed are the things that I've lived by and gone by so far being on the road. Now, I'm not done yet. But, I think in time, like as I go, further, and even getting into my own truck, like I'll find different ways to do things that to me make more sense, or different ways to drive, or when to stop, and just whatever feels right for me and what makes sense for me. I don't care what other people done. I don't care what Super Trucker Joe did. I don't care what a lot of these guys in the comments who show up talking about, oh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You think you know it all. No, I don't think I know it all. If you go watch any of my videos, I use common sense. I'm not an idiot. I'm not just getting my CDL. I kind of know what I'm talking about. But what I don't do is pretend to know it all. I don't know it all. I'll be the first one to tell you that I don't know it all. But what I do know is I use some common sense. It's not rocket science. These guys out here like to think that their job is more important than it is, and it's not. You're delivering stuff. That is the most basic, broke down way of explaining this job in a nutshell. You're just delivering stuff. And these guys that want to make it seem like it's rocket science is ridiculous. Don't let them talk you into thinking that you're some kind of superhero. You're not. Just be courteous. Be who you are. Be safe, and that's it. That's all there really is to it. Guys, I want to thank you for all the support. That's only 2 videos we'll probably get today. I'll try to maybe do another one later on. I know my wife was talking about coming on here, so we'll see. Me and her were working on the logo, and we were doing some other stuff too. So, cool new logo we got. Anyways, I already talked about all that. Guys, be safe. Keep the wheels down. If there is something you guys need help with, or you want me to make a video about, please let me know. Comment. Let me know, and I'll try to get it up. Like, share, and subscribe, man. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. I gotta drink some water. Maybe we'll do a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. And until we get to a point of breaking there. I will make another video later talking about the future of the channel, on things you'll see that are going to be different, like as far as upgraded, in my opinion. Different equipment, that kind of thing, but we'll talk about that in another video. It's already, I think, 5:30, so I got to get dinner here going with the wife. My wife and daughter should be home soon. So guys, thank you for all the love and support. We'll catch you on the next one.